The camera captured an extraordinary moment as Lacy, a white-tailed deer, prepared to give birth. The caretakers at Shadow Valley Deer Farm were filled with anticipation as they awaited the arrival of the fawn. However, what followed left them astounded. Lacy is a female albino deer residing at the Shadow Valley Deer Farm in West Virginia. This farm specializes in breeding white-tailed deer with unique colors and patterns, such as white and piebald. In the wild, a deer's typical brown fur helps it blend seamlessly into its natural surroundings. However, a white deer would stand out conspicuously among trees and grasses, making it more vulnerable to hunters and predators. Fortunately, the deer living at Shadow Valley are shielded from such dangers within spacious enclosures. Lacy holds a special place in the hearts of the farm staff. About 2 weeks after her birth, Lacy's mother passed away, leaving the young deer alone and struggling to adapt. There were doubts about whether she could survive on her own, and some staff members had even given up hope. However, one staff member, Becca, remained determined and assumed the role of Lacy's surrogate mother. Lacy also faced various health challenges, but the farm's veterinarians, who deeply cared for all the animals, spared no effort to nurse her back to health. Everyone pitched in to help Lacy recover, and Becca was thrilled to see her efforts pay off. She continued to care for Lacy and developed a close bond with the deer. Consequently, it came as no surprise when Becca was the first to notice Lacy's pregnancy. Apart from Lacy's remarkable zest for life and survival instincts, her unique coat color held a special place in the keeper's hearts. Her white coat was the result of a genetic condition known as albinism, characterized by a complete lack of melanin, resulting in no pigmentation or color in the body. This absence of pigmentation caused Lacy's striking white appearance, with visible blood vessels under her skin. Albino animals are a rare sight, and albino deer are no exception. Spotting or owning an albino animal is often considered a stroke of luck. With Lacy's distinct coat color, the excited staff eagerly anticipated the arrival of her offspring, hoping she would produce more rare albino deer for the farm. While male deer typically reach sexual maturity at around 2 years old and female deer can start reproducing as early as 7 months old, Lacy's case was unique. She refused to mate with any of the dominant male deer on the farm. However, when a lower-ranking male was introduced by the staff, Lacy took the initiative and approached him herself. Becca shared, "We were so glad that she was finally open to being with a male, and we couldn't wait for her to conceive." The staff kept a close watch on Lacy, both to document the momentous occasion and to be nearby in case she needed any assistance during the birth. Detecting pregnancy in deer can be challenging until they are further along, but the experienced staff at the farm knew what signs to look for. When Becca noticed that Lacy began grooming herself more frequently, she suspected pregnancy and shared her observation with the others. They waited a few more weeks, and by then, a noticeable bulge had formed in Lacy's lower abdomen. Becca's suspicion was confirmed. The farm's beloved deer was indeed pregnant. Sadly, this joy would be short-lived. Lacy lost her pregnancy in the 2nd trimester and briefly fell ill. Becca expressed, "We were so happy she was finally pregnant, so it was really devastating when she lost the pregnancy. We were so sad for her, but we believed she would pull through." 6 months after losing her pregnancy, Lacy became pregnant again, sparking the interest of millions of people. The duration of a deer's pregnancy varies by species, but most deer pregnancies last between 180 to 200 days. At this time, Becca began to closely monitor pregnant Lacy, being careful not to startle the expectant mother. Becca observed that Lacy often visited the meadow area, as if searching for the perfect spot to give birth. About 2 weeks later, Lacy displayed signs of restlessness and physical changes, indicating that labor was imminent. She had gone into labor. Lacy headed to the meadow area, and Becca followed closely with her camera, determined to capture the birth of the fawn. Becca set up her camera, but soon realized that this would be a lengthy process. Like humans, deer labor for extended periods, and Lacy labored throughout the night. When Becca awoke the next day, Lacy had not yet given birth, but they were closer than ever. Becca momentarily looked away from the deer, and it was during this brief moment that Lacy delivered her first baby, a beautiful fawn resembling Bambi. This tiny deer had a regular brown coat, and Becca, believing the birth was over, prepared to leave. However, to her surprise, it seemed that Lacy was not done. She was about to give birth to another baby. Typically, first-time mothers give birth to just one fawn, making Lacy's case quite extraordinary. While preparing for the second birth, the devoted mother continued to care for her firstborn. She lay quietly beside him, grooming his fur with her tongue. The first fawn moved around his mother, even searching for a source of milk. However, since Lacy was still lying down, the fawn couldn't nurse just yet. After a few minutes of grooming, Lacy showed signs of giving birth to her second baby. She stopped licking the first fawn, and Becca quickly zoomed in with the camera. Within seconds, two tiny hooves emerged. Just before the second fawn was completely born, the firstborn fawn approached to inspect and even began to lick his twin brother. Grooming played a crucial role in bonding, both between the mother and child and among siblings. Becca, expecting another brown fawn, was taken aback when the second fawn emerged. Just like its mother, it was entirely white. Initially, this might have been difficult to discern because the fawn's coat still had a yellowish tint from birth. However, as Lacy continued to groom her second baby, the snowy white coat became fully visible. After giving birth to the second fawn, Lacy finally stood up, ready to nurse her babies. Lacy would spend several weeks with her two new babies as they grew and learned the essential life skills needed for a deer's survival.